Okay, shall we start? I'm CB Attapattu, I'm Senior Lecturer of the University of Colombo, Faculty of Management Finance, lecturer in Business Statistics, Mathematics, Operational Research, Econometrics, and Data Analysis. Right, we want to start statistics lecture within this time frame. I think we have taken the course outline. Many things we have to discuss in this course outline. Right, what is your knowledge about the statistics? Up to some extent, you are okay. You have knowledge, previous knowledge. Basic statistics. Right, statistic, I start from the beginning. Right, statistical classification of statistics. Statistic means that is a scientific subject. Scientific subject. That until I take the pins, right? Statistic is a scientific subject. That subject is having different tools and techniques. Tools and techniques, statistical techniques. You learn these tools and techniques. Why you use these techniques, why you learn these tools and techniques to apply in your day-to-day activities or business. You want to apply. That's why descriptive part and inferential part, both you have to learn statistics. Right. Then statistic, many calculations we have to do here. Calculations. But before starting calculations, some background you have to learn with regard to statistics. That's a scientific subject. Why you use these tools and techniques? The environment is dynamic, very difficult to predict. Therefore, environment is uncertain. Business is uncertain. Under uncertain situation, you have to use tools and techniques. If the environment is definitely it is fixed, no need tools and techniques. That's why you use forecasting, right? You develop models, you use probability, and you test hypotheses. All these you do because environment is uncertainty. Under uncertain situation, you have to use statistics. Again, statistic, the other people cannot see, no? Both. Statistics, when you use statistics, different functions, collection of data, organizing of data, presentation of data, analyzing of data, summarizing of data, conclusions, taking reasonable decisions. Those are the things you want to do in the statistics. These functions, statistics. Okay. Then statistic can be classified like this: descriptive statistics, inferential statistics. We want to learn both technique, descriptive part, inferential part. Right, what do you got this slide, no? Right. Do you want to write down your notes or do you expect some notes from me? You can write down when I explain. Normally, note is given. Yeah, it is up to you to decide. Do you need a note from me? Right. If it is, you have to write down. Whatever I explain, each and everything, you have to write down. Otherwise, I think that if you got the idea and write down your note, then briefly you can note down. better the note is given by me. But if it is I dictate, you can write down. Right now is statistics. Right now is statistic definition we want to write down. Statistic is a scientific subject. Statistic is a scientific subject that consists of tools and techniques. Tools and techniques. Tools and techniques. Used for decision making. Used for decision making. In uncertainty situations. In uncertainty situations. But that's why situation is very difficult to predict. That's why. In uncertainty situations. Decisions are taken in day-to-day activities, and also businesses. Right, when we start the calculation, this camera should be focused to the whiteboard. I think that it may be arranged next week. Today I want to discuss the background of this. Right, then we want to write down the statistic, then the statistic functions there, right? Statistic functions. I think that maybe I have given here. These are functions. Right, now we write functions we can study later, the classification of statistics. Classification of statistics. Classification. Classification of statistics. Right, when you classify two parts, descriptive statistics, inferential or analytical statistics. These are the two. Right, in point form, write down descriptive statistics. Second, inferential statistics. Inferential. Inferential means analytical. Analytical. Okay, descriptive statistic means if anybody asks from you what descriptive statistic is, descriptive statistic means to understand the nature of data. Right, to understand the nature of data. Right, to understand the nature of data, what you do, you collect, you organize, you present, analyze, all these you do with regard to data to understand the nature, that is called descriptive. Descriptive means to understand the nature on it. You are not going to use for forecasting. Descriptive statistic means to understand the nature of it. To understand nature. Right, now write down like this. Descriptive statistics. If we collect, organize, analyze and present data, to understand the nature, That is called descriptive statistics. That is called descriptive statistics. That is called descriptive statistics. Right, as an example, we can write like this. Annual sales income you take. Annual sales income. In annual sales income, you calculate what is the average mean value, what is the maximum, what is the minimum, what is the range. All these calculations belong to descriptive statistics. Right? You calculate to understand nature of data. Nature of data. Right, now write example for descriptive statistics. If we calculate mean, maximum value, minimum value, range, etc. for annual sales income. For annual sales income. For annual sales income. Those are descriptive statistics. Those are descriptive statistics. Right, that's why later you want to calculate in descriptive statistics simple mean, weighted mean, geometric mean, harmonic mean, mode, median, variance, standard deviation, skewness, courtesy. All these values you calculate for descriptive statistics. You want to practice correctly. Because in your research, if you test the normality of the data set, you need the skewness as well. Courtesy is also you need. Therefore, descriptive statistic means to understand nature of data. Right, then what is meant by inferential statistics? Second, inferential statistics. Inferential or analytical. Right, analytical statistic means we study sample. You know population. All the data, population. All the employees, population. All the items you produce, population. Take subset, few items, sample. Right. Inferential statistic, you study sample. After studying sample, you take your decision about population. That's why you use estimation, hypothesis test, forecasting, correlation, regression, chi-square analysis. All these you apply in inferential statistics. Sample study decisions with regard to population. Sample of employees satisfaction you test, your final decision about the entire satisfaction of all the employees. That is inferential statistics. Right. Now we write, if we study a sample, if we study a sample, to take decision about the population. That is called inferential statistics. That is called inferential statistics. As an example, sample quality is tested. Sample quality is tested to determine the quality of total production. Right. As the techniques we can use correlation analysis, regression model, estimation, forecasting, all these we use in inferential statistics. Descriptive to understand nature only, mean median mode, these calculations. Inferential means other techniques, all the techniques you learn. Forecasting means entirely inferential part. But inferential part you can't do without the knowledge of descriptive statistics. Therefore, both you have to learn. Right, further write down. As the techniques, we can apply correlation analysis, regression models, hypothesis test, etc. Hypothesis test. Some examples. I believe that you understood descriptive and inferential, the classification of statistics. And if you need to raise some questions, you can ask, no problem. Right now, when you use descriptive statistics, you have to learn these techniques: central tendency, dispersion, skewness, kurtosis. All these you need to calculate later. Without the knowledge of central tendency, dispersion, skewness, and kurtosis, you are not aware of descriptive statistics. By using these two, when you do your research, you test the normality of your data set, skewness and kurtosis, whether data, well-safe data, normal distribution. Step by step, we learn, right? I have given here inferential analytical techniques, some examples. Here, descriptive statistics, measure of central tendency means all the mean, then you can calculate harmonic mean, weighted mean, geometric mean, mode, median. These values belong to central tendency. Dispersion means you need to calculate range, mean deviation, percentiles, deciles, quartiles, variance, standard deviation, coefficient of variance. Measure of skewness means you calculate coefficient of skewness. Kurtosis means measure of kurtosis. These are the things you need to calculate later, but at the moment understand these techniques belong to descriptive statistics or to inferential statistics. Estimation, hypothesis, correlation, regression, limited values, limited techniques I have given. But more there are causality, structural breaks, logistic regression, war models. But these models you are not learning in this level. Up to this you have to learn regression. Regression up to that. But logistic model you don't start. The dependent variable binary. Also, it is structural breaks, event studies. But some event studies you are going to study in time series. Power models, vector power equations in your syllabus, they are not there. Okay. Right. Some examples I have included here: descriptive and inference. Descriptive entirely is calculation, these four. Inference, more techniques you can include. Right, then we go to understand functions of statistics. Functions of statistics. Then write down functions of statistics. Functions. Right, function, you can see collection of data. Collection of data. What is meant by this? Under the collection of data, you use different methods to collect the data. Collection of data. All these in the introduction part, you have to learn collection of data. How to prepare your questionnaire. What are the methods of data collection? What are the methods of sampling? All these you have to learn under the collection of data. Collection of data. Right here, briefly write down collection of data. Right. First one, collection of data. We have to study. Types of variables, types of data, data collection methods, methods of sampling, etc. Right, all this you have to learn under the collection of data. We have to discuss a lot. Second, organizing of data. Organize. Organizing of data. Organizing of data means by using different methods you have to arrange your data set. That's why you use ascending order, descending order, array, frequency distributions, ungroup, group frequency distributions. Those are the things you want to do under organizing of data. Right? Briefly, right? We have to organize our data. By using frequency distributions, array, etc. Frequency distributions, array, etc. You need to organize your data. Raw data to transform into organized data. What is meant by presentation of data? The presentation of data. Presentation of data means those are the graphical presentations. You need to organize your data, but simple charts you know, bar charts, pie charts. But here we want to learn histogram, frequency polygon, frequency curve, cumulative frequency curves. These graphical presentation you need to learn under data presentation. Presentation means graphical presentation. When you write your research, final dissertation, you write data, analysis and presentation. Presentation means graphical presentations. Right, then briefly write down, right, data presentation of data. This means that graphical presentation. This means that graphical presentations. Right, then analyzing of data. Analyzing of data. You are using different techniques, both descriptive and inferential techniques you use to analyze the data. That is analyze. Now, write briefly. Using analytical techniques, data can be analyzed. Data can be analyzed. Right, then summarizing of data. Summarizing of data. Right, whatever the outputs you take, but all these briefly you provide. That is my data. This is the results of regression results. These are the results of correlation analysis. These are the descriptive statistics. You provide, summarize. Data can be summarized. Then write down. Analytical results can be summarized. Analytical results can be summarized. Right, next is conclusion. Conclusion means you take your final decision. Final decision means you say workload of the organization is mainly influencing on labor turnover. Likewise, you take the conclusion. Take why employees are leaving from the company. Maybe high workload, maybe no promotion, no training programs. Maybe you are finding the results. That is why your conclusion you take. Right. Here, based on the analysis, we come to conclusion. We come to conclusion. We come to conclusion. Example. Financial benefit has influence on employee satisfaction. Likewise, you take the conclusion. Right, based on that, you provide reasonable decisions. Then you provide, as the managers, you do what are the reasonable decisions, take reasonable decisions. Then you arrange financial benefits should be provided to the manager, to the employees. Or maybe workload should be reduced. Likewise, you take relevant or appropriate decisions. That's why recommendations we provide implications. Right. Now, by taking reasonable decisions based on our conclusions, correct decisions should be taken. Example, financial benefits should be increased. To retain employees. Right, likewise we study all these we take at once. All these together we do, but others one by one. Collection of data, organization separately, presentation separately. All these we take together. When you analyze, you summarize, take decision at the same time, all these you do together. Clear? Right. How to use statistic in business? How to use? How you can use statistic in business? To understand the nature or level of data we can use. What are the techniques? Descriptive statistics. As an example, you want to start a new business. Then you decide what is the size of employees, warehouse space, number of vehicles, how much you need, number of raw materials, daily financial requirements, all these descriptive statistics. In average, how much you need? In average, I need 500 employees. In average, I need 3 vehicles. Warehouse space in average maybe 2000 square feet. Descriptive. Clear? Right. Likewise, how to use statistic in business. And then write how to use statistic in business. Right. First one, to understand the nature, otherwise level of data. Always write with example, then you can understand. Right here, example write down. If we start a new business, example, if we start a new business, we need the number of employees in average, the number of employees in average, number of vehicles, raw materials, warehouse space, etc. Warehouse space, etc. We can apply descriptive statistics. We can apply descriptive statistics. That's why you say, in average, I need 500 employees. Warehouse space to store our production, there should be 2000 square feet. Likewise, you take decision. Descriptive. Now, second one, to examine the relationship. In your business, you can study relationship. What is the relationship between price and demand, price and supply, right? Salary and employee satisfaction, salary and employee turnover. All these relation you apply correlation analysis. Correlation. Right now, to examine the relationship, you write down. If we need to study the relationship, between the promotion and employee satisfaction. The promotion and employee satisfaction. We apply correlation analysis. We apply correlation analysis. Correlation. Okay, in your business, you want to study the effect or impact or influence. Right, to determine the effect, otherwise impact. How you use effect? Effect of price, effect of other price, effect of promotion program expenditure on sales income. You want to study, right? Effect of one or more variables on another. You want to test. That's why you apply regression models. Regression models. impact, effect regression model, relationship correlation analysis. Right now here write down, if we need to study the impact of one or more variables on another variable, regression models can be applied. Example, impact of price and promotion program expenditure on sales income. Effect of price and promotion program expenditure on sales income. How they influence. Price, promotion program expenditure. Price may be negative influence. High price, less sales. Maybe promotion program expenditure may be positive influence on sales income. But after testing, you have to do that. That is impact. Next one, to test the assumptions. You may be having an assumption. My product, when I produce my product, average weight of my product should be 50 kilogram. Average weight. Bag of cement, 50 kilogram. That is our assumption. But when you test 100, it may be different. But you want to test whether your assumption is correct or wrong. You apply hypothesis test to test assumptions. Assumptions you can test by using null and alternative hypothesis. Later you will learn. And now I test the assumption. If we need to test the assumption, we apply hypothesis test. As an example, average weight of a product is 50 kilogram. This assumption can be tested. Using hypothesis test. Right, to test the independence in business, you want to decide whether one variable is independent from another. Male, female employees are independent from the performance. Because of male employees high performance, because of female less performance, or whether they are independent. You can decide. In medical field we use smoking and cancer, whether they are independent or dependent. You can check in business. For that purpose we use chi-squared analysis to test the independence. Here I down. We can test whether one variable is independent. From another variable. As an example, Gender is independent from performance. Gender is independent from performance. We apply chi-square analysis. We apply chi-square analysis. Chi-square analysis. The symbol chi-square. Chi-square analysis. We apply chi-square analysis. Next, in your business, you want to study structural changes. To study structural changes. In your organization, maybe different events occur. COVID-19, how it influences. Management change, how it influences the performance of organization. Or unexpected elections are there. Or maybe there are bomb blasts, how it influences. So likewise, we want to study structural change because of a particular event, what happened to the organization. For that purpose, we can use the statistics. Especially paired sample t-test we apply to study the structural changes. In time series data, if you use, we use chow breakpoint test for time series data. Cross-sectional data paired sample t-test. Structural changes. Here we write down. In organizations, different events may occur. Different events may occur. Their effect can be tested using statistics. As an example, tsunami effect, COVID-19 effect, management change effect, right? If you introduce ERP system, then how it influences? Likewise, you can check, right? Management change effect, etc. Can be studied using paired sample t-test. Paired sample t-test. Right. You are willing to study over the time, that is a breakpoint test, but it is not in your syllabus. But paired sample you have to start. To estimate to forecasting. Right, you study sample. Quality of a sample is tested, you estimate my total production quality will be within this range. Interval estimation, point estimation. Therefore, estimation is the technique. Estimation. You can estimate weight of a product, x bar plus or minus z alpha over 2 into standard error. Like that, later those calculations you will learn. I will explain all this step by step. That is estimation. Using sample you do. Right. Now we write down. After studying a sample, population can be estimated. Population can be estimated. As an example, using sample quality, total quality can be estimated. Total quality can be estimated. What is the technique? We apply estimation. We apply estimation. Estimation is the technique. We apply estimation. Right, based on that you can do the forecasting also, right? You forecast this way. Right, next we want to study population, sample and census. Population, sample and census. Right, what is meant by population? Population means if you are doing a study, all the items with regard to the study belong to population. That is a universal set. As an example, if you study your organization employees, all the employees who are working in your organization belong to population. Subset of the population, selected number of employees from the population, that is a subset. That is a subset. 500 employees are working in your organization, you select 100 employees to study. That is subset. Census means without studying the sample, in your study you study all the items of the population. If it is, that is called census. Census means entire population if you study, that is the census. Without selecting 100, you study 500. That is a census. That's why census of population. Census of population. Entire Sri Lankan people we study after 4 or 5 years maybe. Entire people we study. That is the census of population. Why? We don't confine it to a number of people. We study all the people in Sri Lanka. That's why census of population. Clear? Right. Now write down like this. Population. All the items which are related to our study, are called population. Example, all the employees in the organization. Population is a universal set. That is a large set. Selected number of items from the population is called a sample. Sample is a subset. Of population. Example, selected 100 employees. Selected 100 employees into the study. Right. If we study all the items of the population, that is called census. Example, we study all the employees. Right, that's the census. 500 employees there, that is population. You study 500, that is a census study. Right, next is approaches for conclusion. Finally, you take decisions, right? You are coming to a particular conclusion. The conclusion can be taken by using these two approaches, inductive and deductive approaches. Approaches for conclusion. What is meant by inductive? Inductive approach. Udgami, Nigami. Udgami Pravesha, Nigami Pravesha. Inductive, deductive. What is meant by inductive approach? Inductive approach means directly you are coming to the sample. Directly you come here. You study the sample. After studying sample, you take decision about your population. This is your population, right? Large set. Directly you are coming to this. In qualitative research, we do inductive approach frequently. Qualitative research. Directly you come to sample study. After that you say 60% of employees satisfied. You study the sample. Right? Have you heard Hawthorne study? Lighting is influencing the performance of employees. Done, qualitative, inductive. Directly you study sample, then you take decision about population. Qualitative research we apply. Deductive means you start from the population. You start here. Here there is a value 60%. Your assumption is there. Study sample. After that you come to this to justify whether that value is correct or wrong. That is deductive. Then quantitative research we use deductive approach. Here, inductive approach, theories are developed, statements are developed, hypotheses are developed. Deductive approach, theories are tested, hypotheses are tested, statements are tested. If there is a particular theory developed that has been developed based on inductive, then you can test whether it is correct or wrong by using deductive approach. In quantitative research, we use deductive. That's the way the statistic we use. Always we use statistics for inductive and deductive. But many analytical techniques we apply in deductive approach. Deductive also we use, but rather than that we apply in deductive approach. Understood? Right. And if it is you want to write down, is it difficult to write down when I give the notes? Because each and everything you have to write down. If you write your own notes, it will be easy, no? ඔයගලම note එක ඔයගොල්ලෝ ලියා ගන්න නම් පාස් නැද්ද? No. You are silent, normally silent. This is your normal appearance. Right. Okay, if I continue the notes like this, is it okay? It is also not okay. If you write down your note as it is it okay? It is also not okay. If it is what we do. Note එක දෙන්නම් කියනවා. Right, I will continue the note as it is. I cannot understand whether you understood or not. That's why. Even though you understood or not, this is your normal appearance. තේරුණා නැත්නම් ඔයගොල්ලෝ සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඉන්නේ මේ විදිය නේද? හරි. Okay. Continue. Inductive, deductive. And inductive approach first. In this approach, we directly come to sample. To start. After studying the sample, conclusion is taken about the population. As an example, after studying the sample of employees, their satisfaction level can be estimated. As 60%. In qualitative research, this approach is frequently used. Theories. Statements, hypotheses are developed using inductive approach. Right, then deductive approach. Right. Now suppose directly you came here, sample then tested, estimate. Here you start from this population. Test the sample to rationalize this value is correct or wrong. Hypothesis tested, theories tested. Then some expected value is there, it is tested, the statements are tested. In quantitative research we do. That's why in quantitative research we use hypothesis in methodology chapter. Hypothesis. You also will do like that in future. Right, now deductive approach. According to this approach, we start the study from the population. After selecting a sample, sample is tested to rationalize the population. साधारणीकरण हरी rationalize the population. As an example, if there is a statement that 60% of employees are satisfied. Selecting a sample, this can be tested. In quantitative research, this approach is frequently used. Theories, statements, hypotheses are tested by using deductive approach. Inductive develop, deductive tested, right? That's why I say inductive specific to general in research, deductive general to specific, because from population we are. That's why. Right, why samples are important? Very easy. We can write in point form. Why samples are important? Time factor. With minimum time you can complete waste value. That is the first part. Time factor. Quickly you can write down this time factor. Studies can be completed with minimum time. Because you want to expedite, you have to achieve deadlines, then you use sample. Second, cost factor. In the sample studies, cost can be minimized. Right. Then write down, cost can be minimized in sample studies. Third one, accuracy. You need to clearly understand that. Accuracy. Why accuracy? When you take population, in the population more items may be. Here may be 10,000. Right? This is the production, 10,000. But when you take the sample, 100 items, limited number of items in the sample, therefore individually you can test all the attributes of the sample items. But in the population, 10,000, Each and everything, each and every attribute you can't study in the population items. That's why we say accuracy can be improved in sample studies, but samples should be selected without being biased. Paksagrahi වෙන්නේ නැතුව ගන්න ඕනේ sample එක. So then you can improve the accuracy. Otherwise, in the population, all the attributes, if you can check, it is better. But practically, it is difficult. That's why we say this accuracy. Otherwise, if you can study the population, all the attributes, it is better. But sample we can do limited number of items. Population, it is difficult. That's why accuracy can be improved. Clearly understand why accuracy belongs to sample. Right here, right now. As there are limited number of items, in the sample, all the attributes can be tested. All the attributes can be tested individually. Therefore, accuracy rate can be improved. Therefore, accuracy rate can be improved. In the population, all the attributes cannot be tested individually. All the attributes cannot be tested individually. Samples should be selected. Without being biased. Without being biased. B-I-N-G. Being biased. Without being biased. For better sampling technique you can learn here. Then those techniques you can use. Next is practicability. Practicability. Some studies should be conducted. Some studies by using only sample. That's why practically population you can't study. Then right, some studies should be conducted. By using only sample. Because population you can't study. Sample only. Example, getting blood tested. You want to get your blood tested, right? Do you give the doctor sample or population? Sample. Population we can't do, isn't it? That's why. And also electric bulbs, you want to check electric bulbs maximum voltage. You produce 1000. Then 5-6 bulbs, we increase the voltage and check what is the burning out voltage. It may be 290. 5-10 bulbs you check. All the items if you check, what are the items you sell? Vehicle pressure we do. After producing vehicle, 2-3 vehicles, we increase the pressure outside, then we decide what is the maximum pressure. There will be a damage for the vehicle. 3-4 vehicles. We do practical. Example, getting blood tested or vehicle pressure test. Housewives, you are doing many times. You are testing the spice and salt requirement of a curry. Testing sample. I don't know whether you test the population. Sample. Practical. Sample. So in your research also you use sample. Next is primary and secondary data. Primary and secondary data. प्राथमिक द्वितीयक दत्त primary and secondary data. Primary and secondary data. Right. Primary data means if you collect data for your study directly, because directly you are collecting data for your study. For the first time you collect those data collected first time directly to a study, that is primary data. You can take the support of other organization, other people, no problem, but they are also collecting this data for your study. That is primary. As an example, you do interviews, collect data, primary. You distribute questionnaire, collect data, primary. Data which have been collected by other people and organizations for their studies, if you use, they are called secondary data. Example, central bank report, secondary. Why? That report has been organized or arranged by the central bank for their purpose, not for our study. But we use as secondary data. Department of Census and Statistics data, Department of Meteorology data, or Columbus Stock Exchange data. All these data secondary. If you use financial reports of organization, they are also secondary data, because financial report that has been prepared by them for their purpose, not for our research, but we use for our research. We take from central bank GDP, domestic debt, external debt, education expenditure, population size. All these we take from secondary data. But those data have been collected for their decisions. Clear? Primary, secondary. Then clearly see. Now we write down. If we collect data directly to our study, they are called primary data. They are called primary data. We can take the support of other people and organizations. But they collect data to our study. They collect data to our study. Example, collect data by conducting interviews. Right. We want to study further. If we use the data, which have been collected by other people and organizations. For their studies. They are called secondary data. Example, central bank report. CSC data, Columbus Stock Exchange data, CSC data. Right, all this data, right, financial accounts. Right, then we want to study variables. You take break 10:30, right? 10:30. Right, variables. Now variables as well as constant we can see. Variables as well as constant. But here you are not writing constant. You write down variables and constant. Variables and constant. Vichallesa niyate. Variables and constant. Variable means units which can absorb different values. Units which can absorb different values. Example, weight of a product. One product may be 50 kilogram, another may be 50.1 kilogram, another may be 49.8 kilogram, different values. Right, different values. If there is a fixed value, that is a constant. Fixed value. Fixed value. That is a constant. Example 10,000 or 50,000. You have to pay. That is the building cost. Even though you produce or not, you have to pay 50,000. That is fixed. Therefore, it does not change depending on a particular value. It is fixed. That is a constant. When you develop the regression model, you can see constant plus variables beta value. Later you can understand. Variable and constant fixed value. Okay, then variables can be classified qualitative, categorical and quantitative. Quantitative further can be classified as continuous and discrete. You have to learn all this. Otherwise, you cannot understand correctly analytical techniques to be applied. Right now, variables and constant, briefly write down. The units which can absorb, different values are called variables. Example, weight of a product. Weight of a product. Right, like this 50 kilogram, 50.1 kilogram, 49.8 kilogram. There is substance. Different values there. Because bag of cement, even though you produce, always sharp 50 kilogram we cannot see. Maybe 51 kilogram or sometimes 50.5 kilogram, maybe different values. Using a hypothesis test, later you can test whether 50 kilogram is accepted. There are methods. Different values. Right, then continue. If there is a fixed value, that is a constant. Example, fixed cost. Fixed cost. Right? Fixed cost. 50,000. That is fixed. You may be producing, you may be not producing, irrespective of that, 50,000 should be paid. Fixed cost. Right, variables can be classified like this: qualitative, quantitative, continuous and discrete. We want to learn, right? Right, then we take, further write down, variables can be classified as follows. Right, first one, qualitative, otherwise categorical. Qualitative or categorical. Second one, quantitative. Under quantitative, first one, continuous variable. Second, discrete variable. Continuous, discrete. All this we want to learn step by step. Right, qualitative variables or categorical. Categorical means, qualitative means numerically you can't measure. Numerically you can't measure. But when you are going to analyze by using statistical packages, you use codes, gender, male, female, you use the code 1, 2. Education, O-level, A-level, graduate, postgraduate, 1, 2, 3, 4. Likewise, you use the codes. Without codes, you can't start. You can't analyze data without using codes. Because name, if you collect data by using Google Forms, it may be gender, male, female with words. Those are string data, string, string. Statistical packages cannot analyze them. We have to assign the code, code. Different statistical packages you will learn, SPSS, CBS, SAS, Minitab, right, AMOS or whatever. Then you have to use the codes for qualitative data to analyze. Codes. Okay, right. Now we write down qualitative data, qualitative variables. If a variable cannot be measured, in numerical value, that is a qualitative variable. We have to assign codes. CODs, codes. We have to assign codes to analyze this data. Codes. We have to analyze codes, CODES. We have to analyze codes to analyze these variables. Example, gender. Qualitative variable. If you use name, male, female in your data set, you can't analyze, that is a string. These are string. You can't analyze. Therefore, use the code 1, 2 or 2, 1, no problem. Then you can analyze codes. We define codes. Education, categorical. O-level, A-level, graduate, 1, 2, 3 codes. You can analyze. Otherwise, you can't. Right, if you are having that categorical data for area, your hometown, Colombo, Gampa, Pugnagar, Go, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can analyze them. Right, then quantitative variable, next one, quantitative. Quantitative means numerically you can measure, right? If a variable can be measured, in numerical value, that is a quantitative variable. Example, weight, height, number of employees, etc. Particular numerical value you can use. But that value also, based on the particular value, we can identify continuous and discrete. Santatika, vividha, continuous, discrete. We take first continuous, Santatika, continuous. Right, continuous means in a given range, any value can be absorbed. any value. If you take weight, 20 kilogram, 20.5 kilogram, 20.56 kilogram, height, you can take 2 meters, sea level, the height 2 meters, 2.5 meters, 2.53 meters, you can measure. Therefore, continuous means in the given range, any value can absorb, any value can be absorbed. Height, weight, distance, length, all these are continuous. Right, now we write down. If a variable can absorb, any value in a given range, that is a continuous variable. Example, weight, height, distance, length, all these you can use. Because if you take weight, 50 kilogram, 50.1 kilogram, that is also mean 50.15 kilograms. When you measure gold, up to many decimal points we measure. More decimal points. Right, discrete, up to some extent. All the values, no, up to some extent. Then write down. If a variable can absorb the values, up to some extent, that is called discrete variable. Example, number of employees. 500, okay. 510, okay. 510.2. That is impossible. Therefore, discrete. Later you will learn normal probability distribution for continuous variable. Discrete variable, binomial probability distribution and Poisson probability distribution. These two are discrete variables. That's why this knowledge you should have. Continuous bell-shaped distribution, normal distribution, and binomial distribution and Poisson distribution for discrete variables. Okay, right. Right, these are the methods of data collection. No problem. Direct observation, right? You need to take a break, isn't it? Take a break. 10:30. You are taking break. I was informed. 10:30, no? No. Maybe 10:30. Break on another. Right. Now take a break. That's 10 minutes or 15 minutes? 15. Then we can start methods of data collection. Methods of data collection, first one, direct observation. Direct observation means, direct observation, you have to go to the particular area. After going to the particular area, you need to observe and collect data. How many units produced by an employee per hour? It can be checked. That is work studies, direct observation. Or you want to prepare a project. For that purpose, you decide how many vehicles entering into the Colombo city from 8 to 10. You go to a particular area, observe, you count how many vehicles entering into the Colombo city. Direct observation. You have to go to the particular area, observe and collect data, direct observation. In companies, work studies, example, work studies. Okay, right. Now we write direct observation. Go to the particular area, 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 and then observe and collect data. Observe and collect data. Example, work studies. Work studies. Work studies means how many units produced by an employee. How many units produced by an employee per hour. You can observe how many units produced by an employee per hour. Direct observation. So then you decide your plan, your schedule after observe. Second, interviews, but no need to write interviewer, interviewee. They meet together and discuss and collect data. And through telephone also you can do, but in list you can write down interviews, telephone interviews. Through the telephone also, interviewer and interviewee, they can discuss. Very simple, no need to. This is important. Question. Question. Questionnaire means that is a question paper. That question paper is having questions according to our objectives. That questionnaire can be distributed among the people to be filled. That is the question. Many times in research, we use questionnaire. Primary data, we use questionnaire. Right. Now we write. This is a question paper. This is a question paper that consists of several questions. Several questions. It can be distributed. It can be distributed. It can be distributed to get them filled. To get them filled. To get them filled. Right. You distribute and you take. Next, postal questionnaire. Again, you can say online questionnaire. Postal or online. Through the online also you can send that questionnaire, but remember, sometimes responses may be less. Google Forms we are using these days. But when you send that questionnaire, responses may be less. 100 you expect, but 55, 60 may be received. That is a problem in postal questionnaire. So you can write through post or online questionnaire can be circulated. through post or online questionnaire can be circulated. Right, all these you can see primary data. Primary. Then secondary data is also a method of data collection. Right, then secondary data. All these primary. Therefore, all these you can write as primary. Right. This is secondary. Secondary data is also a method of data collection. You know what secondary data is. Right. Next is important factors to prepare a questionnaire. Important factors. When you prepare your questionnaire, right, that questionnaire, there are important points you want to consider. Right. First one is introduction. Introduction. Important factors to prepare your questionnaire. Introduction. Okay, your study, you have to provide introduction to your study. What type of study you do? This is research or study, or this is research to study the employee satisfaction for the degree program conducted by SAP in Sri Lanka. Likewise, introduction you have to provide, right? Introduction. When you are doing a research, you have to do introduction about your study and where you are doing that. For the degree program conducted by SAP. Likewise, right. I think introduction is right now. Provide the introduction. Provide the introduction. Provide the introduction about your study. About your study. Example, write down. This is a research. This is a research to study employee satisfaction. To study employee satisfaction. For the degree program. For the degree program. Conducted by SAP. Conducted by SAP in Sri Lanka. Then the respondents are there. You are undergraduate. You are doing. You are following a degree program. In that degree program, this is a study for the employee satisfaction. Introduction is provided. Then second one is confidentiality of data. Confidentiality of data. Confidentiality. Right. Again, you have to include a statement that data are confidential. Data are used for the study only and not given to any third party. It should be written after the introduction. Right? Then confidentiality of data. Include a statement that data are used for the study only. Data are used for the study only and not given to any third party. And not given to any third party. Right. Likewise, prepare your questionnaire. Right. Then how you write? This is a research study for employee satisfaction for the degree program conducted by SAP Sri Lanka. Data used for the study only and not given to any third party. Likewise. Then you can prepare your questions, categorical question, quantitative questions you can include. Right? Later we discuss what. Then this is another one, limited number of questions. Limited number of questions. number of questions should be limited. Your objectives may be having, according to your objectives, include questions. Question 30, 40, 50 maybe. But if you include more and more questions, respondents are not willing to answer. Therefore, number of questions should be limited, but all the objectives should be addressed. You are having objectives in research. To address all the objectives, there should be questions. So then you can minimize number of questions. Limited number of questions, we write down. The number of questions should be limited. The number of questions should be limited. If we include questions, to address our objectives, number of questions can be limited. So sometimes you ask, what is your telephone number? What is your area you are living? But to address your objective, they are not relevant. Right? What is your name? No point of asking those type of questions. Therefore, to address your objectives, aramunu analyze karana. You have to include questions. Then number of questions can be limited. Then multiple choices. As much as possible, try to include multiple choices. Open-ended questions also may be, but multiple choices. The answers given, they have to decide. As much as possible, try to include MCQs. Try to include multiple choice questions, MCQs. Next one, no bias questions. No bias questions. Right, don't ask question being biased to a particular field, product, likewise don't ask questions. You may be biased to a particular product or particular organization. Therefore, don't ask question being biased to the particular product, organization, service, etc. As an example, you are willing to a particular soap. Then you ask question, that soap is very good, I am also using, how you think? We don't ask like that. Being biased, don't ask questions. Right? Sometimes during the election periods we can say, right? Bias we take. We go to a particular area where there is election campaign and meeting, then we distribute questionnaire, collect, analyze, then we say this party is winning. Why? Because bias data. In the particular meeting, the people are they are using their vote to the particular party. Therefore, don't collect data like that. Being biased, don't ask questions. Right? I think that Rexona soap is very good. How do you think? Bias. Therefore, being biased, don't ask questions. Right? No bias questions. Right? Then write down. Don't include questions. Being biased to. Being biased to a particular product, service, organization, etc. Right? If you are studying with regard to a particular soap, don't put the name. Right? Don't ask like that. You can put the names. Which soap you are willing. Several soaps you can provide. Then other. If other, the right person can write. So then you are not biased. Don't ask biased questions. Next one, no ambiguity questions. No ambiguity questions. Don't ask ambiguity questions. Sometimes you may be asking question, the respondent may be ambiguous. Therefore, the respondent should have the capacity to understand those questions. To make the respondent ambiguous, don't ask questions. Don't ask, right? And then write down no ambiguous questions. Don't include the questions. Don't include the questions which are difficult to understand. To the respondents. Right, as an example, you want to do a study about the living standard of remote area people. Then you prepare a questionnaire and ask in the remote area. You go to a particular area and distribute questionnaire, ask a question. Are you below or above the Sri Lankan poverty line? Then what happens? That person is unable to understand. Isn't it? දුප්පත් ප්‍රදේශයකට ගිහිල්ලා අහනවා ඒ පුද්ගලයාගෙන් ඔබ ඉන්නේ දුප්පත්කම රේඛාව උඩින්ද පහළින්ද? Ambiguity. That person is not aware of poverty line. You ask the income level like that, then you can decide. You are having the knowledge. Poverty line. So likewise, don't ask the question which are very difficult to understand. Technical terms when we use, you have to be very much careful. Don't include much more technical terms. People are unable to understand. Okay? Right. Example you write down. Don't include technical terms. But if the respondents are aware of those technical terms, it's okay. But otherwise, many times we are going to study the poor people or these areas. They are able to understand these technical terms. Next is no embarrassed questions. Don't include embarrassed questions. Don't include embarrassed questions. Don't include embarrassed questions. In normal studies, we don't include embarrassed questions. But there are methods to study, different kinds of sampling methods we learn later. Normal studies, we don't include questions to make the respondent embarrassed. Right? During a particular period, have you been remanded? Then what happens? The person may be embarrassed. Don't ask that type of questions, right? Normal studies, we don't ask that type of questions. Then right here, in normal studies, we don't ask questions. Which may embarrass the respondents. Right? Likewise, some personal details, don't ask like that. Next type of questions in a questionnaire. What are the types of questions which can be included in your questionnaire? Types of questions. First one, dichotomous questions, or dichotomous also you can say, dichotomous question. Types of questions. Prashna varga. Dichotomous. Dichotomous question means question is having two options. Question is having two options, but respondent should select only one. That is dichotomous. Are you male or female? Only one. Are you married or unmarried? Civil status, married or unmarried. Rural or urban? Two options, one is selected, dichotomous. Okay, right, then we write. Question is having two options. Question is having two options. And respondent should select only one. And respondent should select only one. Example, gender, male, female. Male, female. One person is selecting only one. That's why dichotomous. When you prepare your data set, variable is coming from the question. Variable is coming from the question. The variable is gender. Gender variable. Right here, right now. Variable is coming from the question. Variable is coming from the question. Right? What is the variable? Gender. Gender. Second is multiple choice. Multiple choice. Multiple choice means question is having several options. Even though there are several options, respondent should select only one. That is multiple choices. MCQs. Right? Then right. Question is having more options. More options. Respondent should select only one. Respondent should select only one. Example, what is your country? What is your country? Sri Lanka, India, Japan, Ireland. Country. Here also variable is coming in the statistical package from the question. Country. Country. Right, then right. Variable is coming from the question. Variable is coming from the question. Right, your variable is country. Like that. Next is multi-options questions. Multi-options. Multi-options. Bahuteri. Multiple. Bahuvardhana. Multi-options. Bahuteri. Dichotomous. Dvidakara. Multi-options. Multi-options questions means question is having several options. Respondent can select any number of options. Any number of options. What type of foods you like? One person may be rice. Another person may be rice, bread, string of. Another person may be all. One person may be nothing. Therefore, multi-options questions. So then variables are coming from not the question, from options. Binary type of data we develop in a statistical package for multi-options questions. Otherwise, you can't analyze. From options, variables come. Multi-options. Right. With example I will show. Write down multi-option question. Question is having several options. Question is having several options. And respondent can select any number of options. Any number of options. If it is not relevant, respondent can select none of the options. Example, what types of parties at your home? Question, what type of parties at your home? Multi options. Why? Maybe one option, birthday party. Or maybe New Year party. Annual party. Christmas party. Wedding party. Like that. If you have a death party, no problem, take death party. Then, now, what happened? One person may select that person is having only New Year party. B person, if you take, that person may be having birthday party, New Year party, and wedding party. C person may be having all. Another person, that person is nothing. Any party, that person is not happy. That person is happy. Any of these party, that person is not happy. Right, then what happened? Binary data. Then variables are coming from options. Birthday one, New Year one, annual one, Christmas one, wedding one. Therefore, questions are coming from, variables are coming from options. If this is not selected 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, data entry method. 1, 1, 0, 0, 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. Binary data. We use for multi-options questions. Okay? Right. Then write down under that. Variables are coming from options. Variables are coming from options. Variables are coming from options. We develop binary data. Binary data means 1 and 0. Binary data. Selected 1, unselected 0. Binary. Right, next is Likert scale questions. Likert scale means qualitative data quantified by using scale. Most probably 5 points Likert scale, 7 point Likert scale, 9 points Likert scales, like that we use. Odd number of Likert scale. Be familiar to use odd number of Likert scale. If there is a person who is in the center point, there should be an option. Therefore, odd number of Likert scale we use. 5 points, 7 points, 9 points, etc. Right, now I provide example. Qualitative data quantified qualitative data quantified by using a scale. By using a scale. That is called Likert scale questions. That is called Likert scale questions. In management and social studies, these questions have been introduced. These questions have been introduced to quantify qualitative data. Qualitative data. We frequently apply 5 points, 7 points, 9 points. 5 points, 7 points, 9 points. Likert scale questions. Likert scale questions. Better to use odd number of Likert scale. Better to use odd number of better to use odd number of Likert scale. Example. You are a satisfied employee. You are a satisfied employee. That question is given as a statement. Then you provide this scale. Strongly disagree. That is number 1. Disagree. Number 2. I have to know disagree. Number 3. Center point. Agree. 4. Strongly agree. Strongly agree. 5. Then 5 points figure this here. 5 points. You are a satisfied employee. Strongly disagree number 1. Disagree number 2. Neither agrees nor disagrees number 3. Agree. 4. Strongly agree. 5. Right. Likewise, you can include Likert scale questions. Then numerical questions. Right. If the question can be answered with numerical value, numerical question. What is your monthly income? 50,000. Numerical value. Is it right? If a question can be answered, with the numerical value, that is the numerical question. That is a numerical question. Example, what is your monthly income? What is your monthly income? What is your monthly income? Numerical. Then open-ended questions. Open-ended questions. Then decide. Think of these when you are preparing the question. Open-ended questions. Right, question is open. Respondent can answer as he or she expect. Spaces can be provided. If it is not sufficient, you can say, you can attach a new sheet if space is not sufficient. Open-ended. How do you think about the new management? Then that person can write as the person is expecting. Right? Open-ended. All these questions pre-codes. Before the data collected, you can see pre-codes. This is open-ended. We take postcode. After data collected, we define the codes. That's why postcode. All these questions before the data collected, we can decide our codes, pre-codes, postcodes. Right. Now we write open-ended question. If the question can be answered, as the respondent needs, that is an open-ended question. Example, how do you think about the new management? How do you think about the new management? How do you think about the new management? Right? New management. There is space is provided. That person can write the answer. Because that person should write the answer, we can't decide the code. After we collect the data, 30-40 questions we take. 30-40 questionnaire we select. After selecting that, what we do, we check what are the similar answers. All these similar answers we put into a cluster block that is coded as 1. Again, after that, what are the other similar answers we take into another block coded as 2. Likewise, 3-4 codes we use, and all the others we put into another code that is other. After data collected, we do that's why postcode. These are pre-codes. Right? Open-ended questions, postcode. Right? Then briefly write down like this. Open-ended questions are assigned codes after the data collected. Therefore, that is the postcode. That is a postcode. Other questions are pre-code. Because you can take gender, one code you can decide before the data collected. But open-ended answers means we don't know real answer. After the data collected, we can do the upper postcode. Clear? Remember when you use statistical mechanics. Right, then types of data and analytical techniques. Types of data and analytical techniques. Types of data and analytical techniques. First one, nominal data. Nominal. Namika datta. Nominal data. Namika. Nominal. Nominal means it is coming from no. N-O-M-E. No. No means just name. Name. Numerically you can't measure. Therefore, what we do for nominal data, we use codes. Gender is the nominal data. Right? Male, female, you assign the code. Difference between the code is not analyzed. You can use only code. Your hometown, A, B, C, D, you assign the code 1, 2, 3, 4, but you can't calculate the mean value. You can't calculate, right? Just only to identify the name, you use codes. Or maybe 3, 5 persons, Nimal, Kamal, Sunimal, likewise you assign code 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nominal, nominal. Your country, nominal. Therefore, numerically we can't measure, we assign the codes. Difference between the codes, we don't analyze. That is nominal. Right, now we write nominal data. Nominal is coming from norm. Nominal is coming from norm. N-O-M-E, norm. Norm means name. Norm means name. This means that numerically we cannot measure. Numerically we cannot measure these data. These data. We assign codes. We assign codes to identify these names. To identify these names. These names. Right? Example, gender. Gender, male, female. 1, 2. Or you use 2, 1, no problem. Only to identify these names you use the codes. You don't compare the difference between the codes. Right? Only one sentence write down. We do not compare difference of the codes. We don't compare difference of the codes. Right? Here male, female. You can't say that male 1, female 2. Therefore, male is better than female or female is better than male. You can't say. Right? Only codes. Right? Another example, if you want, your country 1, 2, 3, 4. That is also nominal number. Next is ordinal data. Ordinal. From that you can understand ordinal. Data can be ordered as 1, 2, 3, 4. Likewise you can order. But difference between the order is not same. But just only to order 1, 2, 3, 4 you use. Sometimes you ask questions in questionnaire. According to a preference, order the following factors as 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Most important, this one person say. Another person is selecting another, right? According to the order. Order means data can be ordered as 1, 2, 3, 4, likewise, but difference between the order is not same. Education, O-level, A-level, graduate, postgraduate, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you say that A-level is 2 times better O-level? Can't say that. Only to order. When you produce quality number 1 product, quality number 2, quality number 3. Quality number 1 product 1, quality number 2 product 2, quality number 3 product 3. Can you say that quality number 1 product is 2 times better quality number 2? We can't say. Quality number 1 product may be no any defective attributes. Quality number 2 may be 1 or 2. Quality number 3 may be beyond that. 4, 5, 6, all these attributes may be defective. Therefore, you can't say that equal distance you can't say between the codes, but only just you order the story. Winner of a game, තරගයක ජයග්‍රාහකයා, winner 1, winner 2, winner 3, winner 4. Difference between winner 1 and winner 2 may be 1 meter. Winner 2 and 3, 100 meter difference. But that person is a third. Fourth one, sometimes may be difference between 1 kilometer. But that person is order 4, isn't it? The difference is not same. මම මේ කියනවා තේරෙනවද? තේරෙනව නේද? But normally this is your normal appearance, isn't it? සාමාන්‍යයෙන් ඉන්න විදියට නේද? 아무도 විදියකට ඉන්නේ. No answers. Okay. Right. Ordinal. Right. We write down ordinal. Data can be ordered as 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. As 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. Difference between the orders is not equal. Order අතර පරතරය සමාන නැහැ. Example, education. O level, A level, graduate, postgraduate. 1, 2, 3, 4, you can use quote. Therefore, you cannot say that A level is 2 times better O level, or graduate is 3 times better O level. Likewise, we can't say. And only to order. Experience, according to experience also we can do experience. Less than 2 years, 2 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, above 10 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, you can order experience, the ordinal data. Right, both nominal and ordinal data categorical variables. For the categorical variables, these categorical data. Therefore, nominal, ordinal, categorical or qualitative data. If you have nominal, ordinal data only, your analytical technique should be non-parametric techniques. Okay, right. Then we write further. Both nominal and ordinal data are categorical. Otherwise qualitative. We apply non-parametric techniques. Non-parametric techniques. I think that I have. Yes. Non-parametric techniques to analyze the data. Right, then interval data. Nominal, නාමික, ordinal, අනුක්‍රමික නැත්නම් පටිපාටික. Right, ordinal. interval, rather, interval data. What is meant by interval data? As a range we collect data, zero does not have a real meaning. Therefore, we say no true zero. Satya binduak ne. Interval data. Temperature. Zero temperature means what? No temperature. Or some temperature. Exact idea we can't say zero Celsius. 0 Celsius කියන්නේ උෂ්ණත්වයක් නැහැ මොකක් කූල් වෙන්නේත් නැහැ වෙනම කූල් නැහැ. What happened? You can't say, right? Likewise, Likert scale data we collect as interval. Some people think ordinal, but ordinal analysis you can carry out. Likert scale data was introduced into the management and social studies as interval data. Interval data, but 3 or more questions we include to create one variable by using interval data. Then neither agree nor disagree. 3. Neither agree nor disagree, or that person is not satisfied to satisfied. In neutral level, what neutral level? Exact idea do you have? That person is not satisfied or satisfied. Moderate. Exact idea you can't see. Therefore, we say no true zero. Satya binduak ne interval. If there is true zero, ratio. Anupata dhamma. Right? Like interval data, we write. Data are collected as a range. Data are collected as a range. And zero bindu does not have a real meaning, and zero does not have a real meaning. Within bracket, no true zero. No true zero. No true zero. As an example, temperature. As an example, temperature. Temperature. And if you take temperature, Fahrenheit 0. Fahrenheit 0. What is meant by this? No temperature? A small temperature? No idea. Celsius 0? Is it same Fahrenheit 0? No. The exact idea you can't provide for interval data. Right, then further write down. In management and social studies, Likert scale data have been introduced as interval data. But ordinal analysis we can do. Some people think ordinal. Only one question if you use, no problem, ordinal you can use. But Likert scale data was introduced into management and social studies. So this in different area, maybe medicine or maybe agriculture, any field. Likert scale was introduced as interval data. Right? It's only exactly like that. 5-point Likert scale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 when you use delta point 0. Here you use 1 plus 1 plus 2 minus 1 minus 2. Then do regression analysis, correlation analysis, you will take same result. A common result again. Therefore, can you say 0 equals 3? No meaning of real meaning. Neither agree nor disagree. එකක වෙන්නේ නැත්තේ. කොතනද යන්නේ? කොතනවත් නැහැ. Exact idea we can't provide. Therefore, interval. Then ratio data. Ratio means data collected with numerical value. 0 has a real meaning. True 0 is there. Right. Now we write data collected with numerical values. Data collected with numerical values. 0 has a real meaning. 0 has a real meaning. That is true 0. Satya meaning of 0. True 0. Real meaning of 0. True 0. Within bracket. True 0. Example. Your monthly income. Your monthly income. Right. 3 persons we take ABC. Right. This person 50,000 earns. This person 10,000. This person says 0. Real meaning is there. This person may be a school child or little kid. That person is not earning. Right? There is a real meaning. Real meaning. Both interval and ratio data are considered as quantitative data. Therefore, we apply parametric techniques. Now we write down both interval and ratio data. Both interval and ratio data are quantitative data. Therefore, we apply parametric techniques. To analyze the data. Right, then we take some in parametric and non-parametric techniques. Right, difference between parametric and non-parametric techniques. Population is normally distributed, well-shaped distribution. That assumption is there for parametric techniques. Population is normally distributed, well-shaped distribution. But mean value is the x bar, mean value, right? X bar. We can calculate. X bar only for quantitative data. Gender, mean value. Education, mean value, we can't calculate. Therefore, population is normally distributed. That assumption is not there for non-parametric techniques. Parametric techniques only assumption there. That's why we test the normality of data in our sample. Normality of data we test after we collect data. Outlier test, all these we do. Right? And then parametric and non-parametric techniques, the difference, if anybody asks, you can say population is normally distributed. That assumption is there in parametric techniques. There should be quantitative data to apply parametric techniques. Non-parametric technique, that assumption is not there. Any data we can apply for non-parametric, but especially nominal ordinal data means you have to apply only non-parametric. Clear? Right. Now we write down. In parametric techniques, there is an assumption that population is normally distributed. After we collect the data. After we collect the data, we test the normality of data. We test the normality of data to apply parametric techniques. To apply parametric techniques. In non-parametric techniques, no assumption that population is normally distributed. Population is normally distributed. No assumption that population is normally distributed. If we have only nominal and ordinal data, non-parametric techniques should be applied. Non-parametric techniques should be applied. Right, some examples I have given here, parametric technique and non-parametric techniques. These are the techniques. Karl-Pearson correlation analysis, ordinary least statistical regression analysis, one sample t-test, independent sample t-test, paired sample t-test, one-way ANOVA. All these techniques you learn here, right? In your syllabus, they are there. You have to learn. And non-parametric technique, these are the techniques, some technique I have included. Spearman rank correlation, chi-square analysis, plus Karl-Wallis test. Here you learn chi-square analysis in this syllabus. Spearman rank correlation, plus Karl-Wallis test, Mann-Whitney U test, Wilcoxon-Seibrand test, Run test, Friedman test. Then we can see KS test, Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, Shapiro-Wilk test. Those tests are non-parametric techniques, but they are not included into your course outline. In your course outline, you can learn chi-square analysis. Some examples only I have included. As the parametric techniques, more technique there, right? Here, if you take Spearman rank correlation, non-parametric tau B, Kendall's tau B rank correlation. That is also Kendall's tau B is a non-parametric technique. Then you can use one-way ANOVA, VA models, vector autoregression, VECM, vector correction model, ARCH model, GARCH model, TARCH, EGARCH, different types of models. Autoregressive conditional heteroscedasticity, ARCH, GARCH, generalized autoregressive conditional heteroscedasticity. TARCH is threshold autoregressive conditional heteroscedasticity. Right, but this syllabus you have to learn. Technique got the theory, right? Tibula. Right, then we want to learn methods of sampling. Right, methods of sampling we start next week. Next week ke පටන් ගමු නේද? අබැයි නම් පටන් ගමු methods of sampling. දැන් තව විනාඩි 5ක් විතර තියෙනවා 7ක් විතර. ඒ 7ක් ඕන නම් කතා කරමු. Right, what do you need? Right, what are the clarifications you need? Right, anything to be changed? Right, this is normally my speed. I do. If you think that my speed is not enough, inform me. I can increase my speed. Right, it's enough. Methods of sampling we learn next week. After studying this, we can go to our data organizing part. Right, it's enough. We can finish.